Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ladies Tale podcast. Y'all know this is one of my favorite podcasts to do because I learned so much, which is sad because I feel like I should at this point because it's been around. I just checked the other day for 4 years now. The Ladies Tale podcast has been around for 4 years, and it was the last one we started. Well, no, that's not true. We started one more after that. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting old or the podcast is having episodes without me. I'm not quite sure which one it is. By the way, I want Lona Marie. Oh, I to introduce myself. Dance. Woo! I feel good. High five to me. High five to me. Yes. All right. There we go. Because professionalism and what used to be a Jade that sat over here, she doesn't sit here that often anymore. But there used to be a Jade there. We would both be like, professionalism and us, we have an allergy. You got to take Benadryl in the morning if you want professionalism. You'd be like, take your two Benadryl, don't be too drowsy, come on in to do whatever, because that's how allergic we are to professionalism. I'm glad it's never served on a menu. Anyway, y'all did not want to hear that rant, nor did you care about that rant. But since I have said that I am well known, I should tell you what I do. So I'm one half of the And I Thought Ladies, and we write books. Go figure. Authors who write books, who run a whole thing about getting into Hollywood. Yeah, very weird. We divert. We go with the wind. That's how that goes. Now, the books are And I Thought Divorce Was Bad, And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy, If Only I Were Me, a Memoir in Verse, Foreign Coffee, Widow's Web, and Widow's Debt. Those are the audiobooks you can get wherever audiobooks are sold. Now, if you've been with us for a while, you know what time it is. It is your sign language numbers time. We have 6 books, and if you add our 12 more books, you get our 18 books. And you can find our 18 books along with everything else that we do and a few things that we shouldn't have told anyone about. If you go keep it a secret at www.andithoughladies.com, which will take you to the real website that's going to tell you everything that we did. And that's why I'd be like, you go to the And I Thought Ladies to keep the image cute. Keep the image cute. Okay. You can go to either one of those pages. I don't care. But you know what's sad about this is you're not here to hear about me. And you know me, I could talk forever about me because I'm just that good at it. But you're here to hear about our wonderful guests. Wonderful guests, would you like to introduce yourself?
I would. First of all, you went through all of those names of your books so fast I couldn't even keep track of them. So that's something to think about. I'm Carole Kirschner. I'm the creator and director of the Paramount Diversity Writers Mentoring Program, the director of the Writers Guild of America Showrunner Training Program. That's 2 things, or is that 1 thing? Is that 2 things? That's 2 things. Okay, here's the third. I started as a stand-up comic 100 years ago, and I worked at the Comedy Store in New York, and I did a pilot back in the day about comedians. So that's my things.
Okay. If you had told me before we got started, because y'all, I just want you to know that I am old now, officially, because she asked me to take a screenshot on Zoom, and it had been a full 8 minutes, and I'm still looking how to take a screenshot on Zoom. We eventually gave up. Oh, which I'm so thankful to be like, if you had told me before that you were a comedian, I would have never tried to start that. I would have taken my Benadryl and done professionalism.
Stop this so long ago. Who even remembers? It's just a thing I pull out because it's fun.
Oh, but I feel proud because I made you laugh. So I was like, wow,
You did.
professional laugh. All right, pushing all of that aside, we're starting with the question that this is a true And I Thought Ladies question. Because all we really ever want to know about, and half of the reason we started interviewing Hollywood in the first place is because we heard that there was a craft service table. Now, I just want to know, was your craft service table good on your pilot?
This is so long ago, and the pilot was so cheap, it probably was pretzels and Oreos. I mean, this was a syndication pilot, not like a network
Oh,
pilot.
oh.
So probably maybe just pretzels, maybe not even Oreos. Who knows?
Oh, I'm just so depressed. This has been the first time I've ever asked this question and been depressed. Yes, so the next
Yeah,
pilot,
sorry.
when you coach the next writer and you get to be on their show, tell them that they're going to need the ice cream truck. Because I heard that one place had an ice cream truck where they literally walked in like a walk-in closet and it was just walls of ice cream that they could just choose.
Oh, that sounds fabulous. I would be all over that.
Yes. People would be like, "Where are you?" And I'd be like, "In the truck." And they'd be like, "You're fired." And I'd be like, "I don't care because I'm going to stay in this truck."
And especially if you're like in LA and it's 100 and 1,000 degrees, that's where you want to be.
Exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. I told you I warned you beforehand. If I talk about food, it's completely downhill from there. For me,
I
it's going
get
up.
it.
We're going up. But okay, now let's talk about the serious things. Okay.
Okay,
So you do, let's start with the Writers Guild. What is a Writers Guild? Because I know a lot of novelists out there are like, I want to write and be on television. And you're like,
right.
yeah, a lot of things you need to do. So, Writers Guild, that sounds
Okay.
important.
It is important if you want to have a career as a screenwriter, a professional screenwriter. Um, the Guild is the union that represents writers, film, TV writers, and others, animation writers, late night writers. And if you want to work for a company that is signatory to the Guild, and almost any company you want to work for is signatory to the Guild, you have to be in the Guild. And getting into the Guild is challenging because you have to be working as a screenwriter and making X number of dollars, and I don't know what they are, in order to be eligible to join the Guild. It's kind of a catch-22. Well, maybe
It's
not.
like SAG.
What?
It's like SAG. You want the
It's
good job,
exactly like SAG.
but
It's
you have to
exactly
be
like
in
SAG.
SAG to get the good job, but you can't get the good job because you're not in SAG. I
Catch
love that.
22. Catch 22. As soon as you get a job, and you're making money as a writer, then you can get into the Guild. And they have health insurance and pension. It's an amazing Guild. It really is an amazing union, really protects their members. So that's what the Guild is.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for explaining how you get it, how you're going to get in. Because that literally, I was like, great, she said it. Now my next question is, oh, never mind. What's the next one after that?
Right,
You're a
right.
mind reader of entry level Hollywood questions. You're
Yes.
also a coach, which is something I should let you say and not kind of ask questions up to it, but I'm going to say it. You're a coach because we don't do segues here.
Ah,
What kind of coaching do you provide? And thank you for laughing at that. No one ever gets that. Or they look at me and be like, how do you not? You just jump. That's how you
I
do it.
love it. I love it. It's kind of like ADHD in an interview. So it's all good for me. It's all good. Um, and so coaching. So I coach writer. I have a couple of different tiers of people that I coach. One is entry level people, and my work with them is how to present themselves in a way that will make them irresistible to people who are decision makers. I don't work with them on the craft particularly. There's better people for that than I, but I work on with them on their career, on their entertainment industry brand, on the steps and strategies you need to break in. And then I have middle to upper level clients, and it's really about navigating the political waters. It's like, how do you manage with an executive who's giving you terrible notes? How do you, when you're running a show, make sure that you are dealing effectively with the actors? Things like that. So it's two tiers. And normally it's really mid to upper level people that I sort of focus on. And I have two kinds of packages. This is shameless self-promotion. I have
Why
a,
do you think I asked?
there you go. Thank you. As we used to say, there'll be a little something in your pay envelope for that.
I
You're
don't
too
get paid
young to
enough,
know that
so
reference. Yes, I know.
no matter what she's
Um,
not getting paid.
well, you're getting paid in the pleasure, joy, and satisfaction of knowing you're helping people.
Yes. And I'm learning so much. I was about to, do you mind if I take a moment for me?
Please take a moment for you.
Okay, so this morning I woke up and I said to myself, "Oh my God, why am I not getting any place with what I want to do in this side of the business now?" My author stuff, yeah, I'm moving. And I was like, and I've been around for a few years now, so I'm very confused. What is going on? And then you answered so many. There were so many on that list. I was like, that's what's going on. So I thank you. I have got paid
What
and
is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to do? I mean, talk to me about screenwriting, primarily television writing. I can speak to you about what you need to do, but what is it that you want to do that you're not getting traction on?
oh, so I have a scripted show that I've written about 8 episodes for because, like, my friends who are directors and producers love the show, and so they got actors to read it as a podcast, and the actors loved the show, and it has kept going and go because I thought it was gonna be 1 podcast and done, and then everyone asked for podcast 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now 8, and now they're asking for 9 and 10. At this point, it's a season. So,
But
but
it's
I
not a script, but it's not a script.
oh, no, it's a script.
You
It's a
you have 8 scripts. Are they half-hour shows, hour shows?
Our shows.
What's the log line for the series?
Okay, we can talk about this later. No one is going to learn from me because I'm obviously making mistakes.
No, okay, we can come back to that if you want.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I have 2 kinds of ways that I coach people. One is with the one-time, 1-hour Zoom strategy intensive. That solves a lot of people's needs, and that's really for the lower level people who are just breaking in. I can be most helpful that way. And then for people at the mid and upper level, I have ongoing coaching where I coach them either 2 1 hours a month or 4 half hours a month. We have a session. And that's how I work in terms of coaching.
So apparently you now have a client for that 1 hour. I mean, you know that I'm coming to this. I'll definitely be
Great,
paying for that.
great, great.
Because I obviously need that.
But we can talk about it because there may be things you can do that aren't things you think you should be doing. But we can talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Definitely. Now, you said that they're entry level, mid level, and then top tier. What are the challenges that you would experience? That way you know where you are. And so if you're
Um,
listening to this, you're trying to decide which coaching you need. She's about to explain what challenges, if you got that challenge, that's the coaching you need.
right. Okay. So if you're trying to break in, that's the 1 hour coaching. One time, 1 hour Zoom strategy intensive. That's where we just cover all the ground of what you need to know and come up with an actionable game plan. If you're already in the business and you're at the mid-level, and you know that because you know that you're working on shows, you know what your title is, you're a producer level or executive story editor or co-producer level. And that's where we go with the monthly sessions. And that is really about, are you doing everything in your career that you need and should be doing to get to where you ultimately want to be? And then we talk about how you get to do that. So
I feel like
that's,
you're in the top tier, you know you're in the top tier. You don't have to explain that one. You know
yeah,
you
you
with
know,
everything else you're
you
doing.
are. If you're running a show, you're in the top tier.
Exactly. All right. Now let's move on from this because I feel like people are gonna be like, now I'm bored. She's talked about coaching for forever. I'm like, no,
Yes,
no,
sorry.
this is an ADHD show. You know we weren't gonna stay there long. I mean, come on, we jumped from food to here. Oh,
Okay.
what were some of the challenges in your own career that pushed you forward to this journey?
Interesting question. Well, when I started out, it was only white guys from USC who were in the business. And there was an affirmative action mandate at the networks to hire women. We hadn't even gotten to people of color. It was just women. So I got in because I got into comedy development at CBS because I'd been a comic and I was a woman and I was smart. and I understood television, and I loved television. But there I was, the only woman among all these men. So part of the challenge was how to be myself and still manage these guys. And I grew up with two older brothers, neither of who was particularly easy on me. So I knew how to do it. I knew how to push back. I knew how to give them shit, and they responded to that. So that was one of the challenges that I had. The other is that I have a really big ego. I don't anymore, but I did back then.
But you
And
need it. You need
what
it to stay in that world and not get hurt. You need a huge ego.
that is absolutely true. And it served me well. And also, here's a great thing if you want to be in Hollywood, is have conviction about the things that you think work. Yeah, that works. You know, love that. That's a great idea. We're going to do that. But it ultimately bit me in the ass. So I left executiving, which is all about ego, to be a consultant. And that's when I came up with it was CBS then, the Paramount Writers Mentoring Program, CBS Writers Mentoring Program.
That is awesome. Oh, I want to ask a question about this, but I swore to myself that I was not going to end this interview unless I asked this question. So
Sure, sure.
yeah, I remember the other one because, as I said, I'm getting older. Things just slip out the ears. It might be the fact that I got to go to PA school and have to remember so much biology. That might be why it's slipping out the ears. You also talk about pitching for TV, and anyone who follows
Yeah,
this podcast knows that I am a fanatic about finding any information about pitching for TV.
sure.
What are your three best pieces of advice besides show up and be on time? These two things I don't, oh no, the be on time one.
That's a
You're pretty
given.
good
That's
at that.
just a given. Now, are we talking about the meeting or are we talking about the actual pitch? Because they're two different things.
Yeah, they are. And I want to know about the pitch more than I want to know about the meeting, but
I think that's smart. Okay. A pitch is a performance. And artists, creators shouldn't have to be performers, but you have to be. Um, it's a conversation. It's really a and here's what I always say. It's tell, don't sell. You do your pitch as if you're talking to an 8-year-old, and the pitch is once upon a time, this happened. There was this person, and they did this, and this was the biggest obstacle they had. And this is how they tried to overcome it, but then they didn't. But then they tried this. And then depending if it's a TV series, then you say, and at the end of the pilot, the cliffhanger is she finds herself faced with a decision between having to shoot a gun and jump off a cliff. And you need that cliffhanger because in this day and age, you need people to click through to the next episode. So the main thing is you're just telling a story. You're just telling a story. It just needs to be a compelling, interesting. If it's a drama, a dramatic story. If it's a comedy, it should be fun to listen to and entertaining. They should both be entertaining. But if it's comedy, you need to make people laugh in the pitch without being over the top or trying too hard. But just remember, pitching is just a story. And there's often people who they don't rehearse enough. So they wander, and you should know exactly what you're going to say in your pitch. You should practice it and practice it and practice it until it rolls off your tongue, but doesn't sound so rehearsed that
rehearse.
it's rote. Right. And there's some strategies for doing that, which I can talk about or not. People can find out about it.
You can get her coaching to really find out about it. But I mean, if she wants to talk about it, I'm sure not going to stop her.
Sure, sure. Just a couple of ways you can do it. One
Like,
is
two. Just give us two. That way we'll have a cliffhanger, and we have to click through.
perfect. Sorry, don't want to talk too much. Two, one, put it into bullet points and practice it that. Write it out completely and then put it into bullet points and practice using the bullet points.
Hey, that is a great idea. Like, because then you're still natural, but you
Yes,
definitely know you're never wandering. It's like having a map on a hike. You kind of know where you're going,
exactly.
but there are a few little things that If I turn this way, I will definitely get lost and never come back. And
That's
you know
right.
where they are in your own story. You know where they are because you've done it
Yeah.
a few times.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So as a woman going up and up the ladder in Hollywood on the executive side, good God, that's amazing. That's something you clap for. Well, wait, I can't do that because I've changed where I put my podcast, where I put my computer, so I can't do that today. Oh, but okay, deaf clap. There you go. Yes. But like that's amazing. Like that you have to clap for that and just for itself. Like that's wow. And the time where affirmative action literally was for women. I remember reading about it in law class.
Right. But I got to hire the first woman of color at CBS. I hired her to be my director because I was vice president. And she's still in the business now, and she's at Warner Brothers, and she's wonderful. And it was a wonderful situation that we were able to do that. So yeah.
That's amazing. Which now actually, hey y'all, it's about to be a segue. I'm about to segue.
Ooh, I love a segue.
Talk about that. Can you tell us a bit about diversity since it seems to be the one of the base things that base foundations in your career. Wow. Mouth, start working. Sorry.
It's okay. What's the question?
Oh, the question was, can you tell us a bit about the diversity program that you
Sure. At Paramount, you mean?
yeah.
Um, okay. So the program's very competitive to get into, but if you get into it and you're really good in it, then the chances are good that you're going to get a staff job because the network underwrites the cost of a staff writer, that's the first entry level salary for the first season. So it's like awesome. And you'll probably get an agent or a manager also in the program. The program is designed to give people who don't have access to decision makers, to executives, to showrunners, and what I work with people on primarily is their brand, how to take a meeting, how to crush a showrunner meeting, which is how you get hired. It's a staffing meeting, and how to deal with executives. And they also write a script with a mentor who is an executive. And by the time they leave, they know how to do a meeting and they have a strong sample. So that's that program. And we're in year 20. And we have 16 showrunners who are alumni. 16.
16 showrunner. Woo. Okay, so y'all, I know some of y'all out there going like, I don't understand what she just said. Okay, staff writers are like your first job to like really get not exactly your first job. There's also the assistant job, I think. I don't know this for sure, but there's also the assistant to the writer job and stuff like that. But staff writers is like you are actually working on a show. So
That is
this
right.
is hard get.
Hard.
Very hard get. And to become a showrunner, that's the top of the top of the top. So yeah, you know you're up there at that top level. That is 16. Good God.
It's
Can
great.
I just like rub your shoulders so I can get some of that luck?
It
Thank you.
luck to get into the program or luck to be a
Yes, luck to get
showrunner?
into the program.
Yeah,
Luck to become
apply.
a
You got
showrunner.
to apply. Definitely apply.
Yeah, I should give it a shot one day. So what three pieces of advice, this is like my next to the last question. What three pieces
Yeah.
of advice would you give anyone that's like they are seeing this in their entry level and they're like, "Ooh, this is a tall mountain to work to climb to just get to staff writer." What three pieces of advice would you give them?
There's okay. There's things over which you have control and things that you don't have control. The what makes a successful staff writer is talent, but talent isn't the most important thing. An amazing work ethic, and ability to tell your story in a way that gets people interested and leaning forward and excited about working with you or hiring you. Having a personality that people love to be around. You're a pleasure to be around. And you're always meeting new people and you have mutually beneficial relationships. So you're seeing how you can help them as much as they can help you. And then there's luck and timing. The two things over which you have control is the number of people you're meeting, the number of people you're helping, and improving your craft. So that's the advice, which is do the things that you have control over. Meeting people, improving your craft. Don't be a jerk. That's another one. Don't be a jerk.
It's really important not to be a jerk.
It's really, usually I say don't be an asshole, but that seems like harsh. So don't be a jerk. Be somebody who's kind, be somebody who's generous. That will take you far.
I'm going to tell you, I'm so sorry. I'm going to tell it again. I'm taking a moment for me.
Please do.
A quick story about don't be a jerk. So yeah, some of y'all know, very few of y'all know, that I do help authors get introduced to people that have the potential to look at their book for films. When someone does that and they set up a private meeting with someone who's very important, and then you show up with an ego 10 times the size of the person there and you are a jerk about your writing, not only does it hurt your chance because they give me the book back, and that's only happened once, it also hurts my chances of me ever introducing anyone else again. So literally, don't be a jerk. That person out there has no idea that I had to get the book back because they were like, love the book, hate the person.
Yeah.
So really, do not be a jerk. And
Don't,
that was a production house.
That was a what?
Head of a movie production house. Like, I call it production.
Wow.
Like, they run a production company.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you ask somebody to do something for you, they're calling in a chit, and they're only going to do it, generally speaking, if you're going to make them look good. So don't do, and I'm just underscoring what you said. Don't do anything that will make the person that recommended you look bad because they recommended you.
It really hurts.
Yeah.
Because you know, you can only do that one more time now.
That's right. That's right. If that.
Okay, I'm hoping on one. Don't squash it. I was sitting here today talking about, do I have one left for me?
You mean with the person that you
With
sent
the
this person
right?
to?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think I have one more chip left for me because that went bad.
Did you follow up with them and say, I'm sorry, this was a bad
Oh,
experience?
definitely.
Sure you did. Sure you did.
Yes, I took them out for drinks. We've had desserts a few times. And I did desserts because I know how much of a cheat it is for carbs with chocolate.
Well, here's the thing, then you have another shot. You have another shot. If you're taking people out for dessert, you have another shot.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, in that case, person, if you're listening to this, and I know you listen to every episode, we're going for dessert in December. And you know why now. Great. I think I better end this before I get myself into trouble by telling stories. Is there a place that people can go to sign up for your coaching or to find out when your next 1 hour intensive will be?
Sure. The 1 hour intensive, they decide whether they want to do it. So that's whenever it makes sense for both of our schedules. I'm at Carole, Carole, Kirschner, KIRSCHNER.com. You can go there and get the ultimate guide to pitching a TV show that sells for free. You can get telling your story in 60 seconds for free. You can find out about coaching under the coaching tab.
Thank you so very, very much. And that, by the way, that website is easy to find because I heard her speak on a podcast, and I just ran your name through Google and it was like third result down. I was like, let me read.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to get to know you, and I wish you the best. I wish everybody who's listening the best. And
I'm going to wrap up on my end.
Please
So
do.
I'm Mona, and I'm one of the And I Thought Ladies. You can find out everything that's going on with us at www.andithoughladies.com. And when you go down to the middle of the page, you can see the 3 charities that we proudly support. You guys, I know that I say this every week, but then I'm going to add something else to it. But you can also give back to them, not just by money, but also giving them knowledge. Sometimes they need to know a bit about law, or sometimes they need to know a bit about grant writing, or you can give back by actually getting your hands in there and doing something. So we thank you in advance for that. You guys, I want you to know that this year we're not just doing our Inspirational Women in Literature, Media, and Journalism Awards as a way to support them. We will also be supporting them at the Las Vegas Writers Retreat on December 2nd and 3rd. So please come out and support us so we can support them. All the dollars that do not go to paying for the event, we split up into thirds and it goes to paying them so they can continue their good work. Alrighty, remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.